Welcome to another edition of Rivals. Rivals has arrived, and now it's time to go fly in the clear blue skies with the OKC Thunder and their blunder in the air at 30,000 feet. They got on the ground, and they actually found this right here. They found gin. Oops.
Wait, there it is.
Apparently,
look at that.
Yeah, on their descent from Milwaukee to Chicago, they ran into an unidentified flying object. I don't think it's flying anymore,
Dude.
but it looks like Jason punched the front of the airplane, put a little dent in it. Apparently, it was a bird, and of course,
Or like a flock of birds.
well, they thought it was Big Bird from Sesame Street because it was so large.
It'd be that big. No kidding, that is one heck of a bird. It had to be a flock of birds that hit that.
So
I don't see any bird guts. Like when you see on the car when you hit them.
But you're going 600 miles an hour. Probably kind of cleaned them right off.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess. I don't know. I've never witnessed that. Of course,
we've been on some scary flights.
Yeah, there was the bird strike with that flight in New York where the guy solely lands it in the Hudson River and everyone walks away, which is absolutely terrifying. Birds and animals in aviation can be deadly. I actually have my pilot's license. I flew airplanes, and so I know, birds, animals on the runway are bad things. You don't want to have that happen. And we got thinking about all of our crazy experiences flying through the air as we played in all of our sports, really in college and professional football.
Oh yeah, I think back to one when we were when I was with the Cincinnati Bengals. And we're flying into Pittsburgh, and we're coming in on a thunderstorm, right? And it's just, you're looking out your window, and it is just lightning striking everywhere. And, you want to see terror in NFL, a bunch of tough guys, and they're all bawling. I should say all, but a bunch of guys are in sheer panic, right? And we have Brian Blados, who's the starting right tackle, man. He's 320, 6'5", 320. And he's back there in the back seat, and I remember Blados is just having a huge meltdown because he already had a phobia about flying, and this lightning's cracking and hitting the plane's just, you're coming in, and it's just swaying back and forth, and the guys are back. Blados is back, and he's just bawling. I mean, he's just like bawling hysterically because he's lost it. And everybody's scared, right? But I remember all the guys, and mainly linemen, guys are back there trying to console Blados and just holding together and everything while we're coming into land. We're buckling up, man. That plane came down because he had to come down faster than normal, and in this storm and blowing, and it was and we hit that ground so hard, just boom! I swear you just blew a tire out or something when you hit so hard, and everybody's just like, when he came to the roar and stop, you're just like, I mean, you didn't want to fly anymore after things like that.
When I was in Cincinnati, we were too cheap to take airplanes. We just drove on buses everywhere. So we never had those issues.
Cincinnati is cheap, but
we actually had one game. No, we actually flew. I'm just kidding, kind of. We actually drove home from Cleveland. So from Cleveland to Cincinnati. Because the bus.
You bussed the Cleveland trip?
No, we flew there, but the plane broke down while we were at the game. I don't know how. And we drove the bus back. Apparently, maybe they didn't pay the bill, and they said, "You're out of luck. It's just a one-way ticket."
Excuse, and
so
Mike Brown saved
I had one experience when I was in college. Actually, all of my flying really bad experiences happened in college. We had one where we left El Paso, Texas, and started flying, and we're taking off, so we're on our ascent, and the plane literally drops. They said it dropped 1,000 feet, and I mean it was so scary. But you'd have those, and everything turned out fine. We have no idea what happened. I mean, we're in El Paso, Texas. It's we didn't even know there was air there. That you could actually get off the ground. But after that, so you fly and you come in to land at night, and people start whistling. They'd make this eerie whistling sound. So you're kind of bouncing back and forth as you're kind of descending, and every little movement, you think the plane's going to blow up or fall apart or whatever. And it was just this
like the missiles dropping.
And it just had this freaky sound to it, and especially in the dark in an airplane. And people were like, "Hey, cut that out. That ain't funny. Cut that out. That ain't funny. Hey, quit doing that. That ain't funny." And the more they'd say that, you do it. But the incident that I remember the most on the airplane was, it actually reminds me of an NFL experience. So they used to have the cart, that would go through the middle of the airplane, and they had all the alcohol mini bottles on the bottom of the cart.
Yeah.
Well, it's a charter flight, so you're the only people on there. And when I was in college, a bunch of the players were taking the mini bottles.
Stealing.
Right, and they were stealing the mini bottles.
Yeah.
So the coach makes an announcement right when we get to land. He says, "Hey, everybody that took all the mini bottles, put them back on the cart, and I'm going to see you on Monday morning, and it's not going to be fun." And so we did like 10,000 yards of rolls. So every 5 yards. And I'm so furious, about all this because I didn't take the mini bottle, and they thought, hey, I'm going to be smart because I know I'm going to get the minute. But the thing that used to get me the most was in the NFL. So you get on an airplane in the NFL, and how we had it, there were 3 seats on one side, 3 seats on the other, and 2 players sat in the same row together. So there was a player, an empty seat, and a player.
Yeah.
Right. So you had an empty seat. And when I was with the Miami Dolphins, they put beer in each of the seats. So they were in plastic bags with ice. And so there were 9 beers in 3 seats. And everyone wanted to sit by me because I didn't drink beer, right? So literally my seatmate had 9 beers to himself, right? And so guys are drinking beer on the airplane, and not only are they drinking beer, but they're drinking hard liquor and all this stuff. Yeah. And you're just scratching your head because we land. And as soon as we land, everyone jumps in their car, and it's the Indy 500.
Oh, there's right ripping out the parking lot.
It's like,
right?
Get me back on the airplane where I'm going to be safe because I'm not safe on the ground here. And I'm like, it was so irresponsible. I mean, it was just crazy.
It was terrible.
What
I
happened.
Can't believe we didn't have more stupid accidents out of that.
Right.
Because I would get on a couple of my buddies, because, I didn't drink either, right? And I'd be back there in the back of the plane. I'd be watching some of my friends, and a couple of them in particular, they would have the hard alcohol hid in their bags, and they'd be drinking it pretty hard on the way home after the game, and they would just be drunk off their butt by the time we landed. And they'd go to jump in their car. And I'd say to my one buddy, I'm like, dude, you are not getting in that car and driving. And he's like, blank you, and being in the all ornery drunk, and I'm going to go. And you're right, man. They get in that little Porsche and take off out of there, and I'm trying to stop them. And they do it every road trip and just be sloshed by the time we got off the plane. Maybe it's because they were scared of the plane rides because,
I don't know. I just know that it was safer up in the air than it was actually down on the ground.
Yeah.
The worst for me, though, was when I played in Detroit. And so we lived around the Silverdome, which is in Pontiac, and Detroit Metro Airport was on a very good day at least an hour drive away. And most of the time it was an hour and a half. So you had to park at the Pontiac Silverdome.
Yeah.
And get on a bus
and
head out to the.
That's miserable.
But one year there was a small airport that was like 20 minutes away, and they go, we'll go to that airport. So we play in Chicago, and we fly back, and they go, it snowed like 1.5 feet. The runway's not clear.
Right, and the small airport doesn't have the equipment to clear it off.
So the buses are at the airport because it's just a short flight from Chicago to Detroit. So they reroute us to Saginaw, Michigan, which is in it's in northern Michigan.
Yeah.
It's the biggest airport that can handle us. Detroit Metro it was quicker to go up there because the buses, so we literally were coming in to land. They said, no, it can't land. Go to Saginaw. So we go to Saginaw. We're waiting 2 hours for the buses. So I go, I'm renting a car. So I get in a car. It's me, Barry Sanders, Herman Moore, and Brett Perriman. Like the 4 best players. I mean, we're talking like millions of dollars of assets in the Detroit Lions in like this
little compact
Ford Fiesta, right? We're all packed in there. It didn't even have heat,
Yeah.
And it's a blizzard. And we're driving like 3 hours from Saginaw, Michigan to back home. And all these kids, because we're pissed, we're like, oh man, we got to wait for 3. It's like, that's just rent a car and just go.
Just get out of here.
And so we're in the car literally going, wouldn't it be just so tragic if like all of us died in this car right now? Because it's like everyone. It would have wiped out the whole entire team.
The team.
And I think it was Brett Beverly says, "Don't say that, man. That's just not even funny. Don't
Yeah,
even say that. That's just
bad
awful."
karma, man.
Yeah. So, anyways, we made it home. It was hilarious. We had a great conversation in the car, driving 3 hours through the snow. So all my experience has been outside the airplane.
Outside the airplane.
It's not been the actual airplane. So
no, I mean,
fly the friendly skies. It's safe.
Oh, it is. It is. I had just one at BYU where they tried to do the real smart thing and taxi out of Provo, a small airport, take off from there. So they only put on enough fuel to make it to Denver because they can barely make the fence. And we're next to the cow fields. And I just remember just coming down, I've seen that barbed wire fence coming down, and we're getting closer and closer, and then all of a sudden you hear this boom! I mean, it's just boom! And the guy locks up his brakes. The plane just barely stops right before this fence. And you're sitting there and everybody's having a heart attack, right? You hear this explosion. You're thinking, man, you're looking out and seeing the engine gone or something. Like, it was huge. And you're like, the captain comes on the over the mic and the speakers and says, "Well, that was just a compression stall. We'll be okay. We're gonna fire it back up and we'll be on our way." And sure enough, man, you just hear that engine wind up again, and then we took off there and just barely clear that fence and have enough fuel to land in Denver and refuel to go to Philadelphia or something. That would. I was just like, but that compression stall, you're like, there's a huge explosion. You're like, well, wait, what if you're like 20 feet off the ground and starting to take off and you have the compression stall? And we just turn around, start our engine back up, take off again. I'm like,
so
lucky to be here with you today.
Just so you know, there you have it. There's Flying 101.
Yeah.
Funny experiences in our plane careers. Flying statistically is the safest mode of travel if you're interested. Anyways, this is Rivals. Rivals has arrived, and now it's time to go. I think we should go get on an airplane and fly to Tahiti.
I think some of our listeners can just travel with me and Scott and see what it's like to be with us all day.
So check out Rivals. Text Rivals to 65537. Go on all those social sites and like us. We'll see you later.